everybody, Pai-chan here, and today is day number 5 of Inktober. Now, today's drawing wasn't one of my best by far, but a few things kind of play into that. One, I didn't get very much, I didn't sleep very well last night, and another thing is, I will admit I kind of tried to rush it. But apart from that, with the drawing, with how it is, I'll kind of explain a little bit after I get done drawing. So let's continue the story, shall we?
And yes, I realized I said day 5 instead of day 6 after the fact. Oops. As the pages turn, our story continues. Meanwhile, in another part of the hospital, having just switched off with Sans to watch over Frisk, Toriel meets up with Pai, and starts wondering as she walks over to what she sees as a new friend. Dear, I've been wondering, how did you know about this hospital? You said, that's been going through my mind for a while now. Pai smiled and went, oh, well, that's kind of easy to explain. Toriel cuts her off a bit as she also says, oh, and are you here to visit Frisk? Pai giggles a little bit and says, yeah, that's part of why I'm here. Noticing the confused look on Toriel's face, she continues by going, I actually work here. That's how I know that this is a good hospital. They'll do all they can for her. Don't worry. Oh, you work here? Well, that's good. But wait, if I remember right, aren't doctors and healers supposed to be different? Yeah, they're different, but that doesn't mean a healer can't be a doctor and vice versa. Toriel nodded, understanding what Pai meant completely. Considering you can know the abilities of healing with also knowing the abilities of being a doctor or a nurse. Considering they are two different things. A healer deals with basic things with healing, and a doctor deals with the scientific. More of the scientific, though there are different types of though she understood that there were different types, and realizing that Pai was insinuating that she was in the medical field. So Toriel asked, so you're not only a healer but a doctor as well? Pai shook her head. No, I'm just a nurse. I'm not that good, and besides, I wouldn't want the stress of being a doctor anyway with all the other stuff going on that I have to deal with. Toriel nodded. Dealing with that, you also said that you're first protector. With this, Pai puts a hand on her friend's shoulder. Well, to talk about, that's not something that we should talk about out here. let's go somewhere a bit more private to talk about that. Toriel, now becoming completely confused, asks, well, why would we need to go somewhere private just to talk about the reason why you're protecting Frisk in the first place? Pai sighs and goes, it's for Frisk's protection and since you're dealing with her, yours as well, along with all your friends. Toriel, understanding the importance of keeping this secret, nods and asks, "Where shall we go?" Well, since I work here, I we can go into one of the unused rooms and we can talk there without being overheard. Toriel, now extremely concerned, follows Pai to one of the unused rooms and gingerly sits in one of the chairs, not quite sure how well they'll withstand her weight, because she's not completely sure how well they're built. Pai walks into the room and flicks her wrist upwards. Toriel kind of shudders and glares at Pai, angrily asking, "What did you just do?" Pai just smiled and went, "I understand your concern. I just put up a barrier." Upon hearing this word, Toriel tensed. Pai, noticing this, just goes, don't worry. It's not to capture you within here. It's so that nobody can overhear our conversation and put anyone at risk. Toriel nods and decides to heed Pai for now, as Pai takes a seat in a chair that she faces towards Toriel. "So, you said that you had information about Frisk, her abilities, you called them, not magic?" Pai just nodded and said, most people would consider it magic, though, and it is kind of the same, though I usually say ability, but it kind of stems from the same place. This now had Toriel completely confused. Pai just, knowing that she would have to explain more than just the abilities says, "I work for an organization, and that's along with working here at this hospital, and that's pretty much all I can say about that without having any consequences." Toriel was getting a bit nervous at this as Pai continued, but we found out that somewhere along the way in her past, Frisk is related to, I don't usually call him this, but a monster that remained here on the surface. Toriel's eyes grew wide. I didn't know there were any monsters left on the surface after the war. After the war? Pai shrugged and went, apparently there were. But who? Pai shook her. Pai looked down and shaking her head. We don't know that. We just know that she inherited not only their power, but the power of but also the power of other ancestors she has. By this time, Toriel became completely confused and asked, who are her other ancestors that you speak of? Pai sighed and said, the seven human magicians that cast the barrier on the underground to begin with. At this point, it finally made sense why Frisk was able to save everyone, though she didn't completely understand how. So, you said things about abilities. Yes. She has the power to, let's call them utilize save points and resets. This got Toriel completely confused. Pai chuckled at this. I understand that you wouldn't really understand that. Sans, on the other hand, he understands them a bit more. Toriel just kind of rocked her head back and forth, as in saying, yeah, as if going, yeah, that is true. And said, well, he does have a lot of secrets, and we never really knew where him or his brother came from. Pai nodded and continued her explanation. Well, with the save points, she can go back to a short distance in the past, though when she utilizes this, she can only go to a single point. And this is represented by, well, I'm actually not completely sure how it works. All we know is that it does. She's the only one that knows. She actually utilized it quite a bit in the underground. Toriel, looking a bit confused, nodded and said, that must be how she gave me time to get there and helped Alphys. Pai nodded and said, exactly. But then there's also resets. From this, Toriel looked completely confused. Well, what's the difference? Well, pretty much loading a save file is for a short time. Doing a reset, on the other hand, uses a small bit of energy. Using a reset, on the other hand, is usually for a longer stretch of time and uses up a lot of energy. And then there's also the fact that with loading, the people around there they'll kind of sense that something is off. But with a reset, normally they'll completely forget. With this, it it was like it jogged a memory for Toriel. That's right. The first time when I met Frisk, it was almost like I had seen her before. Pai 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 told her that's it. Though she may have other abilities that I have no that we have no idea about even yet. So you're saying that she's gonna need help with learning those? Yes. She will need that assistance. I'm not sure if I'll be the best one or if one of you will or even someone else. But it is my belief that she is better off staying with you than anybody else. That's true. When she called me in the ruins, first started calling me Mom. Upon hearing this, Pai kind of chuckled. Yeah, that sounds about like her. Toriel just smiled and went, hearing this, I can see why you wanted it to be in private. Yes, there are actually people that are after her already, that are after Frisk already. Toriel's eyes grew wide and she cupped her mouth in her hands. Is she safe? That's why she's done so many resets and gotten so sick. If she hadn't, they would have captured her and done stuff to her. And she wouldn't have been able to reset back to the time, or they would have made her and made her kill all of you. And if they were to have done that, she wouldn't have had the choice. With this, Toriel just nodded and went, she made the right choice. Pai smiled and went, yes, well, since I've told you everything there is to know for now, I can tell that somebody's about to be here, so I'm gonna release the barrier that I've put up for now. Toriel looked confused, but I can answer more questions later, as much as I know. Toriel nodded, and Pai snapped her fingers, both Toriel realizing that the barrier was lifted. And as it was, Sans ran in. Tori, I've been looking for you everywhere. Frisk is awake. Oh, hey Pai, you having an important conversation? Well, it's over now. Did you say that Frisk is finally awake? Yeah. I met up with Undine and Alfie's up at reception and told them where her room is. Upon hearing this, they all ran to Frisk's room to actually see her awake. Catching the doctor along the way and letting him know. The doctor told them, I'll be in there in a little bit to check up on her. I think she would rather be with her friends and family right after she wakes up. Just be careful. I'm not sure if this will affect you as much as it does humans.
Alright. Well, that's the drawing, everybody. And to clarify a few things, I know my character Pilot's a little weird sitting in the chair, but I'm kind of thinking that she has her arms crossed in front of her to where you can't, to where the back of the chair is kind of obscuring them and just shows her and all that. So there's that. Like I said, it is not one of my best by far. I rushed it and everything like that. But but if you like my DeviantArt and Twitter, my DeviantArt, Twitter, and Tumblr will be down in the description. So go check it out. And if you would like, comment, and subscribe for more videos coming soon, and hit that little notification bell to be sure you get notified when I upload. It'll send a notification to either your tablet or your phone, and also it'll send an email to the email address you have keyed into your account. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. See ya!